Howdy, and welcome back to the Texas Bucket List. If you're a fan of the method of transportation that features two wheels and a motor, this next segment is for you. It's the Texas Vintage Motorcycle Museum, and it is full of interesting stories, especially the owner. Gordon Massey might look like your average motorcycle mechanic, but this former businessman is enjoying his retirement in the Texas Hill Country after spending his whole professional career in Houston.
It's just so peaceful, wonderful contrast to the growing suburbs of Houston.
Originally from California, Gordon came to the Lone Star State in the 70s to start his career in investment business.
What did you think about Texas when you moved here in 1977?
I thought it was awful. The climate, I couldn't believe it was so damn hot and humid. But you get used to it.
Today, he owns the Texas Vintage Motorcycle Museum in Johnson City.
I like to say that I offer a respite to guys mostly who come out to the hill country and grow weary of wineries and knick-knack shops.
Well, I have no problem sampling some fine Texas wine, but I've also ridden a motorcycle, so I know how amazing that can be too. And so does Gordon.
It's the adventure, it's the freedom, it's the independence, it's the exploration of new places. It's not unlike what you do. It's traveling and finding new places, new experiences. It's just invigorating to me and has been all my life.
While motorcycles have always been a passion for Gordon, owning a museum in the middle of Texas wasn't something he really expected to do. But everything changed in the early 2000s when he blew the whistle on fraud at his place of employment. Something he wrote a book about called The Whistleblower's Dilemma.
After I left corporate America in 2005, I had money in my pocket and a lot of time on my hands, and I was dealing with all the trauma of having been a whistleblower and having been fired and kind of the loss of my career. And this was a kind of therapy for me. I just get in my van and pull a trailer and drive all over Texas and the contiguous states, buying up old bikes and bringing them home. And I never had the vision of building a museum, but it was just something I enjoyed. I liked the mechanical aspect of it. I liked the searching and finding for bikes in the hinterlands and the garages and the barns of Texas. And then the rebuilding of them and restoration of them was always kind of fun and rewarding. And you had a sense of satisfaction when you took something from a dingy old barn and you brought it back to showroom condition. Let me show you one of my more unique bikes.
Okay, I think I see it.
Yes, this is a Manx Norton factory road racer. This is a bike I actually found in Pflugerville.
Really?
Yeah, a fellow there had restored it, and it just fit perfectly in my museum. It's kind of my showpiece right here.
In 2021, he opened the Vintage Motorcycle Museum, and now he's writing the book on having a successful museum full of history.
I pride myself in this museum as having a very, very diverse collection. We probably have 30 different brands. Raced at the Isle of Man in 1955 and 1956. It has what the British called a dustbin fairing, which made it somewhat unstable at speed.
Well, in the 1950s, everything looked like a jet.
Yeah, that's true. I don't have tail fins though, thankfully.
Yeah, right. That's all you're missing. Any idea what the collection's worth?
Well, I have 112 bikes, 22 are loaners. $600,000 or $700,000. Don't tell a tax man that.
We'll keep your secret safe.
This motorcycle coming up here is probably the most historically significant bike that I have.
Obviously World War II. And
this is a World War II Harley, what they called a WLA. It was a utilitarian vehicle used mostly for messaging and couriering, but it was used extensively both in the Pacific and in the European theater of operations during World War II. What's interesting about this bike is after World War II, you could buy one of these brand new, surplus, from the Army for $50.
oh my gosh.
And so what happened is you had a lot of soldiers coming back from the war, often with PTSD, who had learned how to ride these things during the war, and they could buy them for $50. And these bikes became the origins of the outlaw motorcycle gangs, the Banditos, the Hells Angels. And so there's a tremendous amount of American history in this bike. This bike kept Harley solvent during World War II.
Truly.
Indian, which was their principal competitor, did not produce as many bikes during World War II. And by 1953, Indian went bankrupt.
Well, it seems like you're enjoying yourself, and it's a little more relaxing than corporate America with everything you had to deal
Oh
with.
my God. Yeah, I don't miss that at all. But you know, when you get older, you need to be busy, you need to be engaged. And this answers that for me.
Well, thanks for watching this segment of the Texas Bucket List. To see more, be sure you subscribe to our channel. And to see full episodes, become a member. In the meantime, you can also shop our store at the Texas Bucket List Store and Studio.